we got to talk about this Nebraska-Colorado game. What an incredible finish. Well, from start to finish, I should say, Nebraska dominated this one. 28-10 is your final. Colorado comes in with all the hype, but Nebraska, they were putting together a better season. You know, I don't want to say great just yet, but they're off to a great start. And they also had some really big names on campus this weekend. We'll start with five-star athlete Michael Terry. He's coming in. Now, everything's trending towards Texas, but Nebraska, this was important for a couple reasons. I mean, Nebraska needed to kind of stop what was happening. All these picks are going in for Texas. Do you think this game had a major impact on Michael Terry's recruitment?
Well, I know that he's never been in a better atmosphere than he was in tonight, and talking to his dad about it, he just said it's different at Nebraska. And Nebraska's always done a great job. Coming into the visit this week, his dad said that no program is recruiting his son harder than Nebraska right now. Now, I still think that Texas came into this visit as the clear team to beat. He was wearing Texas gear during his game on Friday night, but Nebraska receivers coach Garrett McGuire has been leading the charge in recruiting him. They think that Matt Rule is an overachiever, the way that he's built up programs. They think he has the resources to make Nebraska special. They've been there 3 times this calendar year, wanted to come back and get to this game. They're looking forward to getting to Texas for the Georgia game later down the road. I'm not quite sure if they've been able to surpass Texas just yet, but certainly they're having a fabulous time in Lincoln tonight. And Michael Terry's in the locker room celebrating with the players right now.
Are we going to have a chance to get Michael Terry on for some immediate reaction, like literally from the locker room?
Well, that's the plan. They have the link, but again, parents were hanging. Michael Terry was sitting in the front row all night tonight, so he wasn't even sitting with his folks. He was with the other recruits, soaking in the atmosphere, getting to know those guys, building that bond and chemistry with those guys like quarterback TJ Lateef, who was hanging out with him, and Cortez Mills. Those guys were hanging together pregame per Sean Callahan of Husker Online. But now he's in the locker room with the players and the other recruits, so we'll see how long that celebratory deal goes before hopefully he joins our.
We might have a Michael Terry interview coming for you guys. But I want to talk about Cortez Mills, because all week, Steve, we had Oklahoma fans in the comments section on our On3 Recruits YouTube channel saying that Cortez Mills was not going to make it to Lincoln. We're wrong. We better go check our sources. But tell me, did Cortez Mills make it to Lincoln?
Well, yeah, Sean Callahan said he was there hanging out with TJ Lateef and Michael Terry, and he came there with his mom. I think that, our source was Cortez Mills. So he said he was going to be there. But sometimes visits don't come to fruition, right? Like Travis Smith Jr. was going to visit Auburn this weekend, but at the last minute, the Tennessee commit decided, I'm not going to go. There's a lot of hoopla around me going to this Auburn game, so I'm not going to go. But Cortez Mills did make the trip out to Nebraska. He took his official visit for the spring game back in April. He committed to Oklahoma this summer. Coach McGuire, Coach Rule and company have not slowed down on the gas with Cortez Mills. They got him out. We'll see what that means moving forward.
All right. How about edge Dawson Merritt? I know he was one that we were keeping an eye on, committed to Alabama. Did he end up officially making it in?
I didn't talk to Sean Callahan about that, but I never thought that visit was in doubt, him and his mom coming to campus. And he did make it. He did make it to Nebraska tonight, so he was on campus and looks like he was having a fabulous time in Lincoln. And look, they got to play well to have a chance to flip Dawson Merritt. Alabama, right. The excellence, this new coaching staff that they have there, and their track record of excellence and success is what attracted Dawson Merritt to Alabama. But Nebraska gave him a lot to think about. I mean, like Alabama led for a while, but Nebraska was always right there, giving him a little bit of hesitance. He even kind of pushed back that commitment at one point to take another round of visits to each of these schools. His dad, who coaches with the Kansas City Chiefs, used to coach with Coach Rule, so they have that connection, that trust. But even though Matt Rule has rebuilt Temple and rebuilt Baylor, they got to prove that he could do it again. You're only as good as your last job, but now they're 2-0. You just saw that defense swarm and slow down an exciting, high-powered Colorado offense all night. but they got to keep it rolling. We're only 2 games into the season, but I think that if Nebraska has a great season, they're going to be in the thick of it for Dawson Merritt as he continues through his process.
Yeah. All right. How about Jackson Cantwell? We saw the video at the intro of the show. Jackson Cantwell, the number 1 offensive tackle in the 2026 class. Now, he was at, I believe, was it Texas A&M last week? I mean, he's going to be one of the most sought after tackles in next year's class.
I believe this was his first game visit of the year. He's going to get back to Alabama, LSU, and Georgia before the season's out. You got programs like Missouri, Oregon, USC that he's high on. But he said it was crazy of the atmosphere. It's very cool to be around. It seems like it'd be lots of fun to play in. He goes, these guys were firing on all cylinders. And I asked him what was standing out about Nebraska at this stage in this process. And he said his relationship with the coaches, proximity. When you talk about those other schools, the Nixa, Missouri product, you got Mizzou obviously close to home and Nebraska close to home, but everybody, all those other programs, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, maybe I would give Georgia the inch coming into the fall visits, Oregon, USC. Nebraska is definitely in a good proximity place. He talked about the culture and the history of the program. And again, like all these other recruits, he sees them getting back on track in a hurry.
Yeah. Jackson Cantwell was at Ole Miss week 1. Sorry, I said Texas A&M. He was at Ole Miss for that game. Dayton Raiola, he was in the stands watching this one. He's a 2026 quarterback. Had to be a pretty cool moment to see what his brother did against Colorado.
Absolutely. And I think that he's Nebraska's to lose. Will they take a couple quarterbacks in this class? I could see them doing that. Another young man that I think they're in fantastic shape for is Michael Clayton. He's a 2026 quarterback from the Sunshine State. He told me that Nebraska is his leader right now. So with that, I've logged an on 3 RPM in favor of the Huskers tonight after talking to Michael Clayton. Now, Nebraska is also trying to battle for Helaman Kasaga, who's an on 300 quarterback from Utah who's lighting it up as a junior. But Michael Clayton received an offer in the summer. Nebraska's been doing a good job, came out here, had a great visit, said it's the best environment he's been in. He talked about the student section going wild nonstop. He talked about how knowledgeable the fans were, even getting quiet when Dylan Raiola and that offense was on the field, but they were certainly raucous at other times. But he likes the offensive play calling, the physicality that they played with. And similar to Jackson Cantwell, he said that the game day environment would be amazing to play in front of. So Nebraska, they're the leader right now for Michael Clayton, and my on 3 RPM reflects that.
Nebraska fans, talk to us. How you feeling about the big weekend recruiting wise? I mean, what does a win in week 2 against Colorado mean? It doesn't mean everything, but what does it mean? Let us know. Comment section below. Steve, a little bit more here on Nebraska. People are going to want to know. I'm sure in the chat they're saying it right now. Nebraska fans, this Michael Clayton pick that you put in, is it something that you think could come to fruition by the end of the weekend, or is it a projection that's where you just think he'll end up at Nebraska?
I asked him if he could pull the trigger soon. We're still waiting there. He's probably in that locker room celebrating this win as well with Nebraska. Also, we're getting reaction right now from Hudson Parliament, who is a offensive lineman from Brandon, South Dakota. In Nebraska, they're treating the Dakotas like it's the home state. They are cooking in the Dakotas right now. And Hudson Parliament is an offensive lineman that's absolutely near the top of their board in this junior class. And he said Memorial was rocking tonight. I liked watching the physical play of the offensive line that set the tone early, how dominant they were at the point of attack. Smash mouth football fits my style of play. So that left a big impression on me tonight, said Hudson Parliament from South Dakota.
All right. Nebraska fans, let us know how we feeling after this big win. Comment section below.